Roll call.
Harding. Here. Brennan. Here. Festerson. Gray. Gray. Here. Mr. President.
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for opening remarks by Vice President Vinnie Palermo, District 4.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. President, and everybody can have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be here a while. We're going to make this meeting last today. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say it's a perfect segue from the Pledge of Allegiance to reminding everyone that America is a free country, and voting is an important part of that freedom. We have elections next Tuesday, May 11th, and it's still one of the things, regardless what you believe in, who you are, how much money you have, you still only get one vote. So regardless of who you vote for, get out there and make it count. And I do want to mention as well, it's Municipal Clerks Week, sorry. And we know without our clerks, we would not survive here. So, but most importantly, in closing, for those of you who have packed your lunch boxes or wore your special socks, I just want to say, may the 4th be with you all.
An affidavit of publication is on file for the pre-council and city council meeting, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of legislative chambers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this meeting of the Omaha City Council. As a courtesy to those in attendance and to facilitate the conduct of our business, we ask that you please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Madam Clerk.
Items 6 through 10 can be considered together for Vistancia, located northwest of 210th and 4th Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Items 6 through 8 are ordinances to rezone this property from AG District to R5 District to DR District, R4 District, and R5 District. Item 9, a resolution to approve the final plat. Item 10, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
The public hearing on items 6 through 10 begin at this time. Are there any proponents?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Brent Beller, 1140 West Center Road. Just to give you a little idea of where we're at, this is the final plat for Vistancia Phase 2. This area is actually Phase 1. Sorry, let me put that up there. And you're at the northwest corner of 204th and 4th Street, so our city is obviously getting out this way. This is Phase 2 that is before you today. And before you here soon will be Phase 3 to the further west. So here for any questions. We appreciate your consideration, as always.
Will there be just a few lots, or will there be a lot of lots?
There'll be a good question. This is on Phase 2, we have 211 lots out there. I'm sure you all get lot sales continue to go very well here in the city of Omaha. There's a need for it. So plats like this and these developments are needed. So
thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Palermo.
Yes.
Brennan. Festerson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 6 through 10 are approved 7-0. Item 11, an ordinance to amend the title of ordinance number 42477, approving the rescission of the ACI 2 overlay district for the property located northwest of Beverly and Farnham Drives. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
The public hearing on item 11 begins at this time. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Councilmember Harding, this is kind of our shared area between our districts, and I see you have your light on.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just going to say the reason for this is really just a language correction. That's why it's on our agenda, if anyone had any questions.
Thank you. No further lights. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Palermo.
Yes.
Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved 7-0. Item 12, an ordinance to rezone the property located at 3863 Farnham Street from GC District to MBD District. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on item number 12 begins at this time. We have some people registered, I think, who are happy to answer questions. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Oh. Come on in, Mr. Thomas. Welcome. You were sitting so peacefully back there, I wondered.
Well, I didn't, I didn't know what to expect. And so
Well,
my name-
welcome. What we do is have your name and address and your testimony.
John Thomas, 3861 Farnham Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I am the property owner next to the requested property, 3863 Farnham Street. And I'm here to see what the final drawings today are, if you could show those to me.
Well, let's see if Mr. Carlson has them and can screen share. And do you have any other testimony you'd like to, or questions?
Well, I have met with Jeremy Carlson, the architect, and the property owners about my concerns in the initial permit drawings. The property owners have made changes to these initial permit drawings, and I approve and support the rezoning of this as long as these approved guidelines are in the current plan today on the record.
All right, we'll have Mr. Carlson confirm that. All right. Okay, so answer to question number one, the clerk has the documents she will allow you to inspect if you want to step over towards the clerk while Mr. Carlson answers question number two.
Thank you.
Mr. Carlson, welcome. Would you please give us your name and address and then answer Mr. Thomas's question with regard to is what we see what you're going to do?
Yeah, Jeremy Carlson, Slate Architecture, 3624 Farnham, Omaha, Nebraska. That is correct. Thomas, screen share of the site layout and landscaping. His concern has been that the patio on the east side of our building is close to his existing building. And he has requested that we include some green space buffer yard between his building and our patio. Our current set of drawings that are at the city for permit review include that greenscaped buffer yard.
Thank you. Just stand by. We're going to mute you again because there's a kind of a rough echo going on with you. Mr. Thomas, does that answer your question?
Well, and maybe Jeremy can confirm, I don't have a colored picture of this. Do I just lower this down?
No.
Oh.
Leave it up, and
Okay.
then it'll automatically focus and everything
Okay.
for you. Your son, Jeff, is the tech guy,
Yeah.
so you don't have him with you today.
Right, I don't have them here today. So my main concern.
Would you zoom out? On
Oh,
top,
Okay,
there you
zoom,
go.
okay, gotcha. So,
Slide the mic over so we can hear you. Thank you.
so my main concern is this green space here alongside of our building they've added. I don't see those on the current plans here, but as long as Jeremy can give me the okay that these are the ones he's going to use. That's,
He did just say that the green space you wanted, he has added. We'll bring him back on to confirm that
Okay.
that is the fact. Does that work for you?
Yep, then I would approve it.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson, we're going to unmute you again. Would you confirm that the green space that you were alluding to is the green space Mr. Thomas just pointing to that you've agreed to add?
I am not able to see what Mr. Thomas is pointing at.
He had a plan that, did you get that from Mr. Carlson, Mr.
Yes,
Thomas?
uh-huh.
Yeah, he has a plan that you provided to him that has the green space on it.
Then yes, that is being provided.
Okay. Can planning come down and explain why that's not a part of the record at this point? If you could have a seat, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas, you might want to give that to the clerk as an exhibit, so the record will be what we're referring to.
Yeah.
Mr. Fanslow.
Sure, yeah, Dave Fanslow, City Planning. I don't have this in my packet. This is in our opinion, a simple rezoning. So when we receive an application for rezoning, it's a concept, it's what they might do, right? So we look at it, rezonings are they master plan compliant, or are they not? Obviously this one is. We don't have this updated version. I guess I can say that the site is within an ACI district and it'll meet all of our standards. And the little tweaks that neighbors discuss, we weren't party to.
Okay, but they're not something that's objected to by the department, correct?
Not that I see right here, no.
Neighbor would like the accommodation, the developer is willing to do
Sure.
it. It's made a part of the record.
It's perfectly fine with us.
Does that work for you, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, I agree and approve.
Thank you. All right, public hearing is closed. Is there a motion? Second, roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 12 is approved, 7-0. Item 13, a resolution to approve a special use permit to allow scrap and salvage in the HI district located at 3701 Dolman Avenue. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
The public hearing on item 13 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Walter Peffer, 11612 Douglas Street, Omaha, Nebraska, spelled P-E-F-F-E-R. I'm here as a proponent for the project representing Eco Storage Investments. Simply put, this is a change in operating hours in a existing special use permit at 3701 Dolman Avenue. It was important to Eco Storage to make sure they were a good corporate partner, neighbor, and so we made a point to visit with the neighbors. Basically, the McConnells are the major property owners to the north of our property on the other side of the Burlington Northern Railroad, and to find out what was important to them. And we did that, and what we've done is agreed to upfront the cost for the planting of mature trees or any other things they thought was important, up to about $80,000. We also agreed to eliminate our Saturday operation hours, with the exception of holidays or major weather issues, then we would come back in. But other than that, we ask for your approval. We appreciate your consideration. And at the planning board, it passed unanimously, and the McConnells actually showed up to testify, but it was on consent agenda, so they didn't get a chance. So in any case, we'd appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Vice President Palermo, you're recognized.
Well, could I have you come back down, please? Sorry. And is Ecosystems, are the owners here as well? Do they want to come down?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Come on down,
I got
guys.
it.
We have Kelly Danielson, who's the district manager, and then we have our operations manager at Green Valley.
Dennis Herskin.
Okay.
We need your names and addresses.
My name's Kelly Danielson, 610 South Lakeview Way, Ashland, Nebraska.
You're with Ecosystem?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, and Dennis, come on up. Don't be shy.
Dennis Herskin. I live at 1205 Sycamore Court, Bellevue, Nebraska.
And who are you with, Dennis?
Waste Connections.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Now,
Mr.
when
President.
if Mr. Palermo calls on either of you, you just have to say your name again so the record we know who's talking.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just wanted to say, obviously, this came before us a few years back, and I was strongly opposed to it. But we have a case here where the new owners have went above and beyond, because for us, the most important thing is our constituents. And obviously, the McConnells aren't just constituents. They're ingrained in that neighborhood with taking care of their own snow removal. He's actually went out and even repaired his own street for this area that he lives in. So those are the constituents we appreciate, and he's a voice for the community as well. So he wasn't always happy with the operations, I'll tell you, because I have him on speed dial, and that's just the way it works in this line of work. before, but he is now. And that just shows what a good neighbor you've become. Obviously, we've drove by there, some colleagues of mine as well, and it was a little slow in the beginning, but I do see some of the things that were first promised in that special use permit are coming to fruition, which is very nice to see. And you've went above and beyond with the planting of the trees that you really didn't have to do, but obviously you're before us, and this is hopefully going to get approved, and this is how this works when you work in conjunction with the neighborhood. So I do appreciate that. And there was a time too when some of the backup beepers or alarms were changed over to the Swisher thing, which I never even knew was approved by the DOT or whoever does that. So that really pleased the McConnells as well. I did get one question though, and I didn't see it in here, as far as the gate hours for trucks that would come in. I know you're extending your hours, but what, and anybody can answer it, what would be the latest a truck would arrive on the property on the Monday through Friday? Obviously, if you're open till 6, we don't want a truck arriving at 6 because that prolongs the dumping process and the noise and everything else for the neighborhood. But what time would that be the last truck would be able to arrive?
This is Kelly Danielson. Our operating hours are 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Okay.
And the last half an hour is basically for cleanup and trucks exiting and that type of thing. But for waste acceptance, it's 6 to 4:30.
Okay. Thank you. That was the only question I had. Again, I want to thank you. You went above and beyond. Obviously, new owners to this compared to when it was sold before for the previous special use permit. So it's really easy, right? As a business owner working with the neighbors, you guys work together and things come very easy. And I know it was a good agreement because Steve wasn't jumping for joy, right? He was just happy. So that means he didn't get everything he wanted, but obviously enough to have my support, which helps with hopefully the approval of this. So from me, thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. Is this material loaded onto rail and transported, or trucks? How you handle it?
Now, this is Kelly Danielson. It's just semi-trucks and trailers.
Okay. And then Waste Connections transports them? Is that how it works? I just wondered why there's two different entities here.
Well, Waste Connections is the owner of Ecosystems
Oh, okay.
Investments. So
All
yeah.
right. Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. No further lights. Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 13 is approved, 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 14, to consider a Class I liquor license application for Company Kitchen located at 2201 Farnham Street.
The public hearing on item 14 begins at this time. We have Robert Sempek, the applicant, Michelle Parker representing the applicant, and Nick Billman. Did Ms. Parker wish to go first? Or Mr. Sempek? Or Nick?
Robert Sempek, 16916 Jackson Avenue, Gretna, Nebraska.
Thank you. And you're here happy to answer any questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Ms. Parker is the same for you? You can nod your head, I guess. Thank you. All right. Are there any other proponents on item 14? Are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Second, roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 14 is approved, 7-0.
Good luck.
Item 15, to consider a Class IK liquor license application for Savor located at 2850 South 67th Street.
The public hearing on item 15 begins at this time. We'll begin proponents with Ron McGaugh, applicant. Oh, you're here in person. Even better.
I did. I signed up and then I was like, I'd rather come in person if I could. Ron McGaugh, 7033 Hillcrest Lane, La Vista, Nebraska. I am the food and beverage director for Savor Omaha. We currently are operating the Baxter Arena for their food and beverage for the University of Nebraska. We have now been contracted to operate their food and beverage at the new Maverick Park, which is their baseball softball complex. And we are looking for an approval for a liquor license for over there as well.
Great. Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 15 is approved, 7-0. Item 16, to consider a Class D liquor license application for Made in Omaha, located at 16901 Wright Plaza, number 163.
The public hearing on item 16 begins at this time. We'll open proponents with the applicant, Terry Healy.
Hello, my name is Terry Healy, 311 North 50th Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68132.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Second, roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 16 is approved, 7-0.
Good luck.
Item 17, to consider a special designated liquor license for Hanks 2.0 for outdoor concerts on May 28th through 30th from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. with music ending at 2 a.m. each night.
The public hearing on item 17 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Lisa Johnson, 11025 North Post Road, Omaha.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Gray, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lisa, I'm glad to see you open again. My concern, though, is that, you know, you're talking about music until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've got a lot of neighbors around you. And normally what we do on this council is we try to have you in any outdoor music at midnight. Are you okay with that?
Midnight is fine, yes.
Okay. Let me go ahead and I'll make a motion to approve, subject to ending the music at midnight instead of 2 o'clock in the morning. It'd have to be an amendment? Okay.
Is
I'll
that
make
your
an
amendment?
Yeah, I'll make it. That'll be my amendment.
Second, roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
As amended, Mr. Gray? Second, roll call.
Thank you.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Item 18, to consider a Class IB liquor license application for Vibrant, located at 18101 Chicago Street, Suites 104 to 105. A's communication from the Planning Department regarding permits for the outdoor area.
The public hearing on item 18 begins at this time. We have the applicant, Lindsay Bornmeyer. We'll begin with her. Lindsay, you're recognized.
Hi, Lindsay Bornemeyer, 4008 North 165th Street in Valley.
Hey, Lindsay, are you driving?
I'm in my car.
Yeah,
I'm at a track meet right now.
we have a terrible connection, so we only heard a fraction of what you said, but we think you just identified yourself. Is that what you were doing?
Correct.
All right. Well, stand by. If anyone has questions, we'll let you know. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
We've recommended approval, but you'll have to get all the necessary permits before you go forward. Good luck.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearing on agenda items 19 through 30 were held on April 27, 2021.
Can you remove item 28?
And we're going to remove item 28. Is there a motion on 19 to 27 and 29 to 30? Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Is there a motion to approve the amendment of the whole on item 28? Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Public hearings on agenda items 31 through 51 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or opponent. Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 52, an ordinance to accept the bid of Tough Works in the total amount of $59,820 for the purchase of 3 used fairway mowers.
The public hearing on item 52 begins at this time. Are there any proponents or opponents? The public hearing is closed.
Non-action items, items 53 through 77 do not require public hearing or city council consideration at this meeting, but will be placed on a future agenda for public hearing and or vote. The reason for non-action is noted after the item on the agenda, as well as the date the item is expected to appear on agenda for consideration.
Roll call.
Harding. Melton. Palermo. Brennan. Festerson. Gray. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Meeting is adjourned at 2:26.